Hey, intro to photo class. Just wanted to give you an overview for the week ahead. The distance learning week 4 page is now updated and posted, ready for you to work on as soon as you are ready. And I'll just kind of go over a couple things so that you know where we're headed. The very first thing I want you to consider is our critique, which is currently set for Thursday at 8:30. I'm open to moving it to later in the day or even to Friday, if that's better for the majority of you. And if 8:30 works great, then we'll just do 8:30. But what you'll see when you click on our distance learning week 4 page, first of all is a discussion board, which I hope is going to be a fun one, but also a link to a Google form to give me some feedback on times that work for you for the crit. So it looks like this. And I just put up for this Thursday and this Friday, like just it looks like 4 different options per day, and you can also check none of these work. And that will help me to figure out what's best for all of us. So please do that by Wednesday morning, and then I'll be able to confirm everything by Wednesday for you guys so that you're ready to go for Thursday. If we are doing it at 8:30. Until you hear from me with something different, though, plan for it to be at 8:30. So what that means is, of course, you will be uploading your Flickr images before 8:30 on Thursday morning. Anyway, so make sure that you take care of that if you need to review that. Kind of instructions for how to upload if you're not sure are on last week's page. Going down the list here, the next thing that I want you to focus on is your self-portrait and really beginning to think about that and shooting options for that over the weekend. So start by watching this video that's put out by PBS, the art assignment show, and it shows a wide variety of self-portraiture from photographers throughout all of history. And it gives some really nice ideas for you to think about in terms of approaches and just kind of like general philosophy about self-portraiture. Next, I give a link to what in the past I have used as a place to submit for the self-portrait critique. It says submit. You do not need to submit anything here for our current situation. What I do want to I linked to it because I just wanted you to see these examples of past student work. You might recognize some of these students from years past and notice that there's some experimental work going on. There's differences in like the direction of the gaze. There's, you know, in this one, she doesn't even have her whole body. That's fine, as long as you have like a part of your person in the image and it's expressive of something related to you, like a theme that you want to address conceptually about your identity or just kind of how you're feeling in this moment. That's what we're looking for. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. The kind of setting in which you put yourself, like your background, environment, what you're wearing, your body language, other kind of experimental additions that you can do. This student was recreating an image of herself that was taken when she was 4. So she's kind of expressing like this progression of growth as she's maturing. This one is really about body language. The student kind of talked about her tendency to be a little bit judgmental, but also like her critical thinking skills. Who else or what else you include in the frame is also very expressive of something that's important to you. And you can also play around with kind of experimental things like the student did with 2 negatives in the dark room. For your guys' case, Photoshop if you're already familiar with that, would be a cool thing to play with. Scroll through those. I think that's as much as I want to say right now, but just to know that the self-portrait is intended to be expressive, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. So thinking about all those things, one of the ways that I want to support you in helping you sort that stuff out is this thing called a self-portrait envisioning sheet, which asks you to consider all those different possibilities. So you're going to complete this by Friday evening. I'll just click on what the PDF looks like. I wonder if you can see this. Okay, hopefully you can see this now. So this is what I've shared in the past with students. It's not an editable document. I had handwritten it, as you can see. So you can fill it out in a couple different ways since you're doing distance learning. You can print it, fill it out, photograph it, or scan it and send it back in to submit, or just look at this and create your own kind of like Word document that expresses similar things. Essentially what I want to know is what kind of environment and surrounding could communicate something about who you are. How is the lighting expressive? You know, do you want it to be moodier? Do you want it to be more high key and happier? That kind of thing. Kind of what you would be wearing or objects you would have with you, if those are something that you want to potentially play with. Your body language and your facial expression. And then I give a place for you to kind of sketch out some possible compositions. So this is not the place for you to be making necessarily final decisions about what you're going to do. It's just a way for you to brainstorm, like, here's all my options. And when you're finished with this, then you sort of have something to go forward on to start experimenting with. Go back here. Okay. Da, da, da. Okay. I give an optional creative prompt here that I want you to look over. It is optional, like I said, but I just want to express that we all know that this time that we're in is a really historical one. And photographers have always been people who have documented history in ways that are both documentary, photojournalistic, as well as expressive of the human experience through our art form. So consider these questions as an inspirational starting point for some photographic work that you could do. And the questions are, how will I remember this time? And how do I want to remember this time? So look over this, and like I said, it's optional, but I think kind of an important thing to consider right now as an artist. And then I give you a suggested schedule down at the bottom. So first of all, just let me know what you're thinking about timing wise for our critique. Upload your things to Flickr before a critique. Participate in the critique on Thursday or Friday, or when it's going to happen. Otherwise, until you hear from me, assume that it'll be Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. And then go through the self-portrait stuff, fill out the envisioning sheet, and if you have the opportunity this weekend, start experimenting with it. Okay, that's the plan for this week. As always, ask me questions as you have them. Enjoy.